Ryan, obviously, have you had a chance to watch the game over again and talk about the battle that it was on Saturday in Philly?
Yeah, I thought it was a really good road performance. I thought the guys did really well. Obviously, we've got a lot of things to improve, but to go there and to be absolutely gutted to leave with 1 point is a standard that these boys are starting to set for themselves, and which is really good.
Can you talk a little about obviously Richter coming in and the thought of his performance after having come in for Russell?
I would say it's a fearless performance. I thought you would never have known it was his first game, and I thought, I think fearless is probably the best way to describe that. I thought he was fantastic. He was courageous on the ball. He wanted the ball. He wanted to defend. He got up and down, and just really pleased for the young man, and it bodes well for the future.
Not a bad throw in either.
Yeah, it was like a pass, isn't it? So obviously that just helps in his armory.
And just any injury update on Russell, and I didn't see Richard out there again today. If you have any updates on that?
Yeah, we're starting to feel the pinch of having to train on that indoor arena for so long now, and then you go from that to grass, back to that to grass, and it's a shame. And then we're in the airport for 10 hours on Friday. Didn't help either. So it's a real shame for Rusty, because obviously he came into his own, but I don't think it's too bad. I think it's just a slight strain, and hopefully we'll have him and Richard back pretty soon.
Do you expect either one back before? Is anyone farther along, or is any of the hamstring issues more serious than the other?
I hope so. Hopefully they're back soon, but we've got to be careful with hamstrings, don't you? Because if you push them back too early, they can go again, and then it can be all sorts of trouble for the whole season. So it's lucky we've got young guys who have come in and done really well and created even more competition for those spots.
So just to clarify, Russell and Eckersley, you think might be able to play on Saturday?
Not 100% sure. They're kind of day to day. I think Darryl's probably more on the way to a no, and I think probably Richard maybe as well. But hopefully our medical team can work some wonders.
And is there any update on Terry and what his condition is?
Yeah, he's going to be out for probably about another 4 weeks. So and then we'll go from there. The doctor's going to make an evaluation from that.
And what is the nature of the injury?
It's a PCL and meniscus tear.
Ryan, they always say in the NBA that big teams and stars get calls. Do you feel that in a way Toronto's paying for its lack of performance on the field when it comes to calls? Even the goal of the week, which I know is a fan vote, but Darryl Russell kind of got robbed on that one. Do you feel that Toronto is getting a bit of lack of respect on the field and off it, or paying for its past?
In all honesty, I don't really look at those sort of things. If we're in a position because we're in that position. If that's the case, we have to take care of what's happening in our own house and get our standards high, and little by little, day by day, week by week, we just got to try and get better and better, and hopefully in a year's time you'll be interviewing some other poor coach about bad calls that are going Toronto's way, not his.
And how difficult a decision was it to leave Danny Califf with 215 career games out in favour of Galley, who has one?
Just 1 year. Really difficult. Danny's been, as you said, he's such a good player in this league. He's been a great pro. Really hard. He's been great with the younger players. He's been great with Garley and great with Donnell. So it's really difficult. But it's a great decision to have. It's a great position to be in. Donnell Henry has been doing so well as well, and so it's not just Garley claiming his space. It's Donnell and all these young players have from the first day that I've come into now, they're turning into men, to tell you the truth, and it's really exciting for Canadian football with the likes of Donnell and Ashton, but really exciting for Toronto football obviously as well.
It's a pretty cruel business you're in, though. I mean, if I got a stomach virus and somebody came in and wrote a story, and then I came back and didn't have that's a tough environment.
Yeah, and that's the brutal reality of professional sports. But the way Danny's been training at the moment has been great. So, you can either go two ways when things like this happen. You can get the sulks, or you can puff your chest out and try and get better each day, and that's what Danny's doing, and that's why we try and challenge all the players here to they're not setbacks, they're not things that are meant you to get you down. They're just opportunities for you to get better and improve yourself. And Danny's come in and he's trained very well, and he's going to cause more selection issues very soon.
You made some pointed remarks about the referee after the Philadelphia game. I know after the game emotions run high. You've had a couple of days to think about it. Do you still feel that the team was a bit robbed on the national decision?
I think it was just an inexperienced call from a referee. If you'd seen a number, I'm not telling him to do his job, but it's a decision that, whether it's a linesman or him, that they happen 20 times a game. So you have to give out 20 yellow cards if you're going to give out something like that. I mean, I think Connor Casey's a very good striker, but you could argue he could have had 10 yellow cards in that game if they went by the precedent of what they gave to Ashton Morgan. So that was a disappointment thing for me. I mean, referees get them right or wrong, and that's life. We all make mistakes, but I think that was just an inexperienced call.
Did you receive a fine for anything from the league for those comments?
Do you know something that I don't?
I don't. No, I don't.
I'm holding my breath.
You yourself, you've said that after 4 games you had 4 points before the season. You would have taken it. At what point does drawing 6, 7, 8 games into the season? At what point do you turn those into wins to be in the stated goal of being in the playoff picture at least? Well,
again, I mean, for me the goal of the season is to get Toronto each week to become better and better, and wherever that takes us, I mean, the performances and the positions that this team has put ourselves into, we're really disappointed. We've only got 6 points from 6 games. The boys know that, we all know that, but we're putting ourselves in those positions. So I have to take the positives, and the positives are we're there and thereabouts, and we're very close. There's going to be games that don't work out our way, and we're going to pinch points down the road. But all I can do is have to look at the big picture, and individually we're improving, as a team we're improving, and as a whole of the club we've got to be improving. So
it's also a really bad time to pick up injuries with your first kind of 3-game week, with the Cup game midweek. I mean, is this roster ready to handle that kind of the strain that those 3 games are going to put on it?
Hopefully, we'll see. I think the guys who've come in when asked to be the substitutes have done really well. If you look at our guys that are on the bench, they're experienced players. There's some internationals there. Some internationals couldn't even make the squad. So you're right. It's a real test for a squad, and we're going to be using the squad. So as we're saying, it's an opportunity to stake a claim, and if you do well in one of those games, then it's hard for me to not pick you.
Do you prioritize the league over the Cup, or do you just treat them both as the same?
No, it's winning. Every game's winning. It's all we care about. It's all we care about. This club is winning, and whether I have to put Coach Franalera out on the field, we have to win. So the players that put on a Toronto shirt and walk out in that white line and represent the club are expected certain standards, and if they drop them or don't adhere to them, then there's no future at the club. But luckily, I've got a squad who are just they work so hard, they like each other's company, and they enjoy their football.
You will have to rotate though, obviously, because it is 6 games in a.
Of course, yes. We will be rotating, but I don't call it rotating because for me it's players that I'd be more than happy to play week in and week out. So it's not an issue for me.
What do you call it then if you don't call it rotating? Do you have a term?
I call it putting out a team to win.
Okay.
Ryan, can I ask you about the horrific episode yesterday? You've played on some of the biggest stages in the world in your career. Did you have any concerns ever about security, and do you feel now in the wake of yesterday that things have changed?
It's so sad. There has been things where you kind of look back and think, it just puts a lot of things in perspective, and what makes frustrates me the most is that guys, there's people out there, running a marathon, working really hard, families watching. It epitomises just fantastic recreational sport, and in such a prestigious city, and it's just unbelievable that some person or some body or some whoever could think about causing harm, and so just obviously we just we wish everybody's families and everybody who was affected in the Boston area that they can kind of get together and see through it and get through it, because it must be so difficult for them. And I couldn't imagine if this happened in something like a football game or in a Toronto field or something like that, because it'd just be devastating.
I'm sure the topic came up today. This is kind of a family here. Do you kind of discuss it with the players, or just it just came up today because everybody was talking about it?
Well, I think when the guys work day in and day out for each other, they have fun together, they talk, they argue, they're on the field fighting, so you become close, you get really close bonds, so and they stay with you, and so I can imagine if something, no matter what, if it's just a family member of a guy's team who becomes sick or passes away, everybody gets sad. So an event like that it'd be devastating.
Updates on Argentina forward?
Yeah. So hopefully something. Yeah.
What's been the holdup, Brian?
I think probably there's a few things. I think the club's obviously in a bit of financial trouble. I think their coach is putting his foot down a bit. So I think there's a battle of who's in charge, financial battle, positional battle, and the playing battle. A lot of battles that are affecting down there that are very frustrating for us.
So is there a timeline? I know you've said a couple times it's virtually done. Are we any closer, or is it still?
2 weeks ago, I think. Is the timeline? Yeah. We're not sure, to tell you the truth. And it's got to a stage now that we'll probably, we're going to have to draw a line behind it at some stage and move on, because it's frustrating.
Darren seemed to suggest in his, from what I saw of his post-game comments on the video, that there might be a kind of anti-Canada bias. Was that the way it was phrased, Kurt?
Yeah, that's.
Have you heard that? What would you say to that?
No, I mean, I'm not sure. Like, Darren's been here longer than I have, but for me, it's all about just kind of controlling what we can control, and bad decisions or whatever, or this and that. That's something that's out of our control. We've just got to keep working hard, try and get better, and generally those things, when the tide turns, those calls start going your way, and you start to look at the world a lot rosier place. So we've just got to keep working hard. It's there's no magical wand to this. It's all of us together in this whole organisation just pulling in the same direction.
You were in DC in 2001, right? Was that
Yep.
That was the 9/11 shortened
Yeah.
Any kind of similar feelings between that 9/11 shortened season and then what happened yesterday?
Yeah, obviously 9/11 was that was a monumental thing in US history, and I can remember when the Pentagon hit, I used to just drive by the 395, I think it was, to training, and I can remember when it happened, and it's your worries about whether you have a good or bad game, or whether you're getting a bad call, or people are against Canada or something like that, they just go out the window when something like this happens. So yeah, it's similar kind of general feelings on that.